And we are live again. For those who have been following our series of our success series, this is the second part. We just finished the first part on purpose. Purpose. There's four different parts. You can check out the videos on my YouTube link, YouTube channel. Part one of purpose is determining the next step. Part two is purpose-driven decisions versus preferences. Part three is finding fulfillment. Part four is prioritizing based on your why. And so we're now starting the second section, the second portion of after purpose. Most people who have now discovered their purpose are, they very typically, most of us would then now seek for opportunities. Now, whatever your purpose is to change the world in some way, some kind of social cause, some kind of family value, some kind of achievement in life. The next thing that we all tend to do is immediately after determining what is our purpose, we usually go straight to what type of opportunities, what type of industries, what type of companies and organizations can I join to be able to fulfill this purpose that you have there. And so the second step to after finishing purpose is actually not going for opportunity and looking for the right opportunity, because if you don't have the right personal foundation, the right personal growth, if you're not the person that's needed, the leader that's needed to lead that organization or to come to fulfill that opportunity, then no matter how good of an opportunity we give you, it just won't happen. So the second part is about foundations. So now we have this whole second part is called critical foundations of a successful life, and so there's five parts to this. And today we're going to go through a shorter portion, which is part one, just an introduction. And part one is titled The Importance of Personal Foundations. Okay, so what is a personal foundation? Personal foundation just means that we are growing just like a building has a foundation, people also have foundations, right? When you have I'm sitting in front of a table right now, and this table has four foundations, right? It has four legs, and those are its foundation. If you take out one leg, it'll probably start to tip. If you take out two legs, for sure it'll fall. If you take out all the legs, it won't stand in the air at all. And for humans, it's the same thing. We all have personal foundations that needs to be built. So what are the personal foundations that we all have that needs to be built before we can start to pursue the right opportunities for ourselves? Let me first give you an example of what's the importance of foundation versus opportunity. Okay, I'm sure most people have watched the movie Fast and Furious, and the main character in there, Dom, Vin Diesel, he's the best racer of them all. And whenever he goes on a race, you've all watched the street races he goes on, and he does pulls and e-brakes and does U-turns and all that kind of stuff. So let's pretend now that Dom comes to you and he says, let's race, and he says the rules of the race is that he allows you to choose which vehicle for yourself, and he allows you to choose which vehicle for him as well. And pretend that the vehicle that you choose from, he says that it has to at least work. It doesn't have to be the best one, but it has to be fully operational. So you can choose a Kia for him, you can choose a Honda for him, and you can choose a Ferrari for yourself. And so given that situation, and he says, we're going to race just like one of the races in the movie. And we're going to go across blocks of a track and all that kind of stuff. And so if he was to race you, who do you think would actually win? Even though you get to choose the car for him, given as fully operational, and you get to choose the best car for yourself. And I think all of us would answer that he would still win if you watched the movie at all. Because with the crappiest car, he could still cut across traffic, he'll go the other way and all that kind of stuff. And if we don't know how to drive properly, it'll crash. I know for sure for myself, I don't really even drive stick. So if I'm giving myself the best car, I probably crash that car before I even start the race. So what do we all agree on here? I think the point is that he's a good driver. The skill that he has as a driver, that's equating to the foundations that I'm talking about. We need personal foundations, skills of life to be able to go and do something. So even if we gave you the best car, which is equating to the best opportunities out there, the best company, the best industry, even if we gave you all that, it still does not mean that you're going to be able to take advantage of the best car because you don't know how to drive it. So you got to first, get your driving skills, and that's personal skills, personal foundations. And I'm gonna give you a visual of what that looks like in a second. But of course, in life, if you have a big purpose, if you've gone through the first series of purpose and went through the exercises to discover yourself, and you know that your potential is much bigger than what you're currently doing, and if your goal is huge and your purpose is big, then you will need a nice car. You will need proper foundation first of all, and then you will need a nice car afterwards. Kind of like if Dom now goes to race a race car driver, he can't just use a skill with Kia. He's going to need a nice car to be able to beat that top racer. Why? Because the race itself is now much bigger. It's a bigger game to play. So how big is your game that you're going to be playing? And how big is your purpose? Okay. So now let's go back to our foundation. So the first step for us is all to build our first personal foundations. Okay. So let me bring up a visual for all of us to be able to understand what a foundation looks like. Okay. Here we go. Excuse me there. So this is the model of leadership that I use to mentor and train people. And if you look at these 9 foundations, the 9th one being leadership, the 8 different things in this circle here that you see, spiritual, health, self-image, inner circle, network, finances, surroundings, and social consciousness. Okay, so these are the 9 foundations, that personal foundations that will be important to each one of us, or already are to each one of us. At some point in our lives, this will become very critical and important. Some more than others at different points of life. So I'll go through each one of them. So with spiritual foundation, spiritual just means that some people have spiritual beliefs, some people don't. But you can treat that as core beliefs. We all need to have core beliefs, and we need to know what is right and wrong at some points in our lives, especially if we have a huge purpose. So that's a huge one. It starts with the core beliefs, and I'm going to later on come back to this and give you an assessment of core beliefs. Okay. The second one is health. Okay. So for health, obviously you've seen big examples of people that because of sickness they couldn't go on longer than to continue their vision. So health obviously is a huge one. Self-image, how you feel about yourself, how you empower other people. Well, those who have a healthy self-image, they tend to empower other people. They tend not to want to be the person in front. And so that's a good self-image. Somebody with a good inner circle. Family is hugely important. I've worked with people that when they don't have their family situation right, their marriage right, their family relationships affect their emotions and affect everything else in life. And many years ago, for those who remember, the President of the United States, we got President Clinton, Bill Clinton, who it was a huge controversy between him and Monica Lewinsky, and the country was after it was all revealed, everybody were discussing, is it even important that his personal life is right? And I personally believe that is absolutely important, because if his personal life is not right, if he lies to his family, if that foundation is not right, he's going to lie to the country. He's going to lie to whoever he's leading, right? So that's a huge foundation. Without that, no matter how big the vision, if you can't take care of your own family, you won't be able to take care of whatever you're doing out there. And then the next one that we're going to look at is network. Okay, so network in terms of who you keep as friends, who you choose as your association, who you choose as friends determine your own values. Because even if you got great values, if you hang out with, we teach our kids, if you hang out with people who smoke up, you hang out with druggies and things like that, you would become one. Well, that's no different when you grow up, right? At any age, whoever we hang out with, they influence us, and so that's an important one to get right. And most of us, our association of people, our network of people, is just done by accident, right? Because most people, that it's the friends that they have, it's because they were in school with that friend, they were at work with that friend, and so those are the common situations that make them become friends with those people. But I believe that to keep a good network, you have to work at it. You got to look for the right people to hang out with. You got to look for the people that have similar values as you do, that can help you go towards a direction that you can help them go towards their direction. So that's a healthy network of people that you invest and deposit into, and that you help each other. And that's hugely important in each one of our lives. And then, of course, your finances, right? Finances is something that will topple your life as well. It's a critical foundation of life. We live in a world that finances is important, right? It's not necessarily how much money you make. It's how you manage the money you make and how good of a steward you are with your finances. And so that's an important part. Someone who makes $1 million but spends $2 million every year, they're going broke in a faster rate. Somebody who makes $100,000 but only spends $50,000 a year, they have better finances than the person who makes $1 million. Right? Now, of course, if you make $1 million and you manage it better, then of course, then you can do greater things with that. So finances is a huge foundation for success. Surroundings refer to your your environment. How do you keep your room? How do you keep your house? Is it cluttered? Is it clean? Is it a motivating environment? A couple of years ago, I was sitting down with a guy that wanted coaching, and he says to me, he says, every time I meet with you, I get so motivated after coming out of it. And when even if I don't see you in the daytimes, when I go do my own stuff, I'm always very, very fired up and motivated. But every time I get home, I don't know what it is. I just become so demotivated, and I just become lazy, and I do nothing. Then I said, this is a simple solution. There's a problem with your environment. There's something in your environment that's demotivating you. So that's a huge thing. How do we keep our cars? How do we keep our, it's a systems. Do we have systems in where we are at? And do we have good pictures in the wall? Do we have motivating things that are, that inspire us, that remind us of who we are and where we're going? The last one is social consciousness. So social consciousness refers to social impact. That's a critical foundation for us as well, because true fulfillment always comes at the highest level of fulfillment. It always comes with what you contribute to other people. So what are we doing for the world today? And many years ago, I found out that $20 American dollars a month, can feed an entire family in Cuba and in different third world countries. So all of us can have 5 less Starbucks in a month and contribute, and that can feed an entire family, their living and their kids and everything. So we have a responsibility with the wealth that we have, no matter how poor we are. None of us would spend more than a day or two looking for the $20 bill that you lost. If you lose $20 from your pocket, you might even spend an hour looking for it, maybe even 2 or 3, but you won't spend the entire day looking for it. But somebody who is in another country, they would spend days and days and days, weeks and weeks, 30 days looking for $20. So we can all lose that $20. And so the crumbs from our table can really feed an entire family for a month. And so those are 9 foundations. Okay, these are all the foundations so for those here, these are the 9 foundations we're talking about. And of course, we went through the 8 different ones that are critical to our lives. The 9th one is leadership. Okay, leadership is, my definition of leadership is the combination of somebody who lived their life very well, somebody who who have these 8 foundations. They're working and becoming better and better at it. Because there is no perfect person. We're not talking about someone who has a perfect foundation. If you were a 2 out of 10 in any of these foundations, but in a month or 2 you're a 3 out of 10, and then the following year you're 4 out of 10, and if you're increasing in that, you are becoming successful, and you can be a leader and you can lead other people. Now, the leadership foundation itself is a critical one, because leadership is your influence on other people, whether it's your own family, whether it's your kids, whether it's your spouse, whether it's your siblings, and whether it's the world, the people around you. If you want to influence people to live a better life, to think different, then you must have a strong leadership foundation. But the leadership foundation is determined by those 8 different areas we just went through. How you live your life will either attract or detract people from your life. Right? So that's the importance of personal foundations, and we will be covering in the second and third ones some other foundations that we're going to look at. But so this is the second part of a series, the success series, and this is the critical foundations of a successful life. So this is hugely important. Not enough people spend their time growing themselves and taking a look at intentionally which areas of their life that will potentially stop them from the vision or the goals or the dreams that they have in the future. Most of us are programmed in our schools, in our school system, in society, to look at what is a better opportunity. My father always, whenever I chat with him on the phone, he lives in Singapore, he always talks about better opportunities. Hey, Cho, you should come to Asia because there are better opportunities. And I always wonder in my mind, what is a better opportunity? Because to him, it's always like the rest of the world. It's always find a better opportunity and you will have a